I've travelled all my career and filled more passports than most people will in a couple of lifetimes. The sea has for me always encompassed the adventure and romance of travel. So when Sitmar asked me to talk to you about their exciting new Grand Adventure Cruise concept, I had the additional pleasure of recalling my own memorable 5-star Sitmar experience. Come with me as I introduce you to an adventure you'll remember for a lifetime. The 5-star Sitmar Cruise fleet is amongst the world's finest. Fair Sky, with its 21st century lines, is complemented by the majestic twin ships Fair Wind and Fair Sea. Both so beautifully crafted, they have the International Fielding's 5-star rating. Plush carpets and fabrics, polished railings, rich wood panelling and contemporary artworks. The fact that there is one crew member for every 2 passengers is evident the moment you're welcomed aboard. Your steward escorts you to the roomiest cabins of any cruise line. Although they're inviting, they can't compete with the attractions that make up your seagoing luxury resort. 3 swimming pools plus sauna, sprawling teakwood sun decks with oceans of sun, spacious inviting lounges to meet and greet new friends, personal service whenever you desire it, intimate piano and cocktail bars, designer boutiques and luxurious shops, beauty salons and perfumeries, full-size gymnasiums with a choice of fitness programs, miles of jogging track and deck sports, high-rolling casinos where you can play amongst friends. You'll find all your Sitmar crew have a philosophy that Vincenzo can explain better than I.
My father in Milano was so proud when I was selected to be an assistant waiter with Sitmar, because where I come from, service is an art. Especially when you learn your trade in the dining rooms of Sitmar, where the reputation for fine dining is international. I work with Tonio, and like our Sitmar waiters, Tonio is very strict. With Tonio, everything must be perfect for the passengers. But I like that, because if it were not that way, it wouldn't be Sitmar, and we wouldn't be special.
It's a fact. Because of dedicated crew like Vincenzo, over 3/4 of all Sitmar passengers say they will cruise Sitmar again. It's time we went Grand Adventure cruising, north to Alaska and Canada. You begin your grand adventure sailing under San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge. Then it's north to Victoria, capital of British Columbia, with its very English Butchart Gardens. On to cosmopolitan Vancouver until you begin to hug the coastline and cruise the spectacular Narrows and fjords. You'll explore the wild salmon fishing and mining towns that form the final frontier. The long summer days and short nights give you time to discover the soul of Alaska and Canada. Trace the history of the early Indians and Eskimos, especially the famous totems at Ketchikan. The gold rush towns of Juneau and Skagway are where the last grand adventure, the Klondike Gold Rush, took place. Take your time in honky-tonk bars, tread the boardwalks, skirt the dirt streets. Explore the Russian influences in architectural and cultural terms left from 126 years of Russian rule. Entering Glacier Bay is like sailing right into the heart of the Ice Age. Rimmed by rainforests and towering cliffs of ice, it has an abundance of wildlife, from whales to grizzly bears to giant moose. You can do all your sightseeing from the ship's rail or a spacious lounge. Adventure further in a charter flight over the glaciers. You can book aboard ship. Dinner on the Sitmar fleet is always an occasion and a time to enjoy new friends and relate the discoveries of the Grand Adventure cruise so far. To complement your 5-star meal, a classic wine from Bordeaux or a Chianti Classico. You'll also find some wonderful Californian wines and a few grand Australian labels. If the call of the wild is in you, then go north to Alaska and Canada in Sitmar 5-star comfort and style. If you're seeking a warmer Grand Adventure cruise, then go Viva Mexican Riviera. Your departure is from the City of Angels and the home of the stars, Los Angeles. As you venture down the colourful Mexican coast, you'll begin to sense that great civilizations have lived and gone from the landscape. Firstly, the creative Aztecs, who many believed had a helping hand from visitors from another dimension. Next came the Spanish with their music and religion. As if by magic, all these sights and sounds, colours and movements manifest themselves in the first Mexican Riviera pueblo you'll explore. There's architecture with a distinct Mediterranean déjà vu, growing along the edge of cactus-bristling deserts, and an ocean bluer than a sapphire. You'll voyage further and visit the hideaway resorts of the rich and super rich. Mingle with the glitterati along the stunning beaches and lush jungle fringe in another contrasting yet distinctly Mexican paradise. Just off the beach, your own resort, ready to welcome you back aboard whenever it suits you for the finest pizzas afloat or chilled margaritas with the Mexican Riviera shimmering, beckoning in the sun. Our next Grand Adventure cruise is one I've personally experienced, and I'll always remember for its variety and contrast, especially the local cricket sides. Swashbuckle to the Caribbean. You depart from the resort city of Fort Lauderdale with its famous Everglades, Disney World and Epcot Center close by. It's also your opportunity to bet on the exciting sport of high-lie with its fanatical following. Once upon a time, the English, French, Dutch and Spanish battled for control of the Caribbean, perhaps the most beautiful of seas. Today, only the party rhythms of reggae and calypso fight to be heard over the steel drums across islands of different cultures and attractions. Today's swashbucklers can be found swinging a willow or a six-stitcher, especially on Antigua, Barbados and Jamaica, the homes of the mighty Windies cricket side. Other islands have names and enticements that, like me, you'll remember for a lifetime. British Nassau with its jasmine-scented streets, and the old Danish port of St. Croix. Through the US Virgin Islands, visiting ports where Blackbeard once kept his treasure. Now these old pirate lairs are brimming with treasures you can plunder. Romantic beaches like Montego Bay, made for lovers and lovers of music. National Geographic consistently rates the beaches of the Caribbean amongst the world's finest. For scuba divers, the Caribbean is Mecca for its coral reefs, exotic marine life, and miles of safe diving beaches. The Mexican island of Playa del Carmen adds an ancient theme to this Grand Adventure cruise, with its awesome Mayan temples and pyramids. The sun worshipping is still popular. The spirit of the Caribbean is rum, and you'll sample all the varieties as you island hop from parts that will be forever England to islands with a distinctive French flair and style, with sidewalk cafes and designer shops. Not all the fun of your cruise is ashore. Five-star performers entertain you all the way with glamorous high-stepping showgirls and top cabaret singers. The Big Apple is an adventure in itself. New York to Montreal in the fall. The excitement starts with a complimentary Broadway show. Then you sail past Liberty into the flaming colours of autumn. First port of call is Newport, with its great Gatsby-like mansions and America's Cup memories. On to the skirling appeal of Nova Scotia. Upon stepping ashore, you could be forgiven for thinking you're in Scotland. As the sea miles roll by, you can roll dice in the casino or try your hand at blackjack. Give Lady Luck a whirl on roulette, or settle down to some serious bridge bidding. When you enter the busy St. Lawrence, you'll cruise the Saguenay River with its plunging fjords. A stop in Quebec, then on to the Paris of North America, cosmopolitan Montreal with its French influence and spirit, a city of architectural as well as cultural contrasts. This Panama hat signals 3 Grand Adventure cruises in one: Acapulco and the Caribbean via the Panama Canal. You'll travel through 80 kilometres of waterway, cruise across a continent from one ocean to another, through a narrow winding channel, much of it carved from solid rock. Glimpse exotic birds and jungles alive with creatures great and small. Your Sitmar 5-star ship will be raised, then lowered through the incredible series of locks. You'll remember for a lifetime every word your expert guide tells you. The adventure continues as you taste the delights of the Caribbean ports of call, before the heart-stopping spectacle of the cliff divers of Acapulco. Now try to catch your breath in the heady atmosphere of this truly lavish resort, the playground of the rich and famous. G'day. Now this might get some strange looks in Tahiti, but it won't turn a head when you cruise back to Oz. The lure of Tahiti, the bounty of the South Pacific and Australia. Now Sitmar's 5-star fleet is coming into our part of the world, with the most desirable destinations in the South Pacific. Whether you start or finish your grand adventure cruise in Tahiti, you'll soon understand why Fletcher Christian set Bligh adrift and where Gauguin sought his inspiration. Tahitian ports of call include Bora Bora, which James Michener describes as the world's most beautiful island. The pleasure island of Moorea, where the modern-day cinema epic Mutiny on the Bounty was filmed. You'll spend lively days and nights in the swinging capital Papeete, where Polynesian warmth mixes with French joie de vivre. Go with the trade winds to Pango Pango in Samoa for your last taste of Polynesian culture, before you meet the relaxed and happy people of Melanesia and partake in the traditional tribal kava drinking ceremony. Cruise New Zealand in Sitmar 5-star luxury before crossing the Tasman and, for the very first time, go grand adventure cruising along the eastern seaboard of Australia. Explore the Great Barrier Reef, the Whitsundays, and make the most of the enviable stops along the way at Australia's major cities. This is just a taste of grand adventure cruising with Sitmar's world-renowned 5-star cruise fleet. What has impressed me in the past, and what you'll discover, is that the depth of Sitmar service doesn't start and end aboard ship. With Sitmar, everything is included in your fare, and from the moment you leave home, everything is done for you. Your international flights, rest overnight in a first-class hotel, meet and assist service. Sitmar are flexible, so you can add any other holiday plans you may have to your grand adventure cruise. This is the Sitmar 5-star promise, a total commitment to you, the passenger, from the moment you decide to come along on a grand adventure. Maybe I'll see you on my next grand adventure cruise. I can assure you it will be the adventure of a lifetime. Just don't wait a lifetime to go.